Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be recapping the top teams you can run for the Aurora squad and also the testing that I've done with the top teams of today. I hit almost 136 billion damage, putting us in the rank 1 position. However, there is a change I would have made to hit even higher than this more consistently, so I'll talk about that as well. Okay, so we're going to use a Yapala infographic. I'm going to begin by showing you the best no Harak teams currently available, and there are basically two of them. One is if you have Lucius, one is if you have Faye. So we'll talk about the Lucius team first of all. This is going to be using Merrily as a damage dealer with the surging spell. You'll want to have Merrily on the overloaded charms, Sonya on the arcane charms, Bresto on the sorcery charms. Honestly, Lucius charms don't matter that much. You can give him the wizard charms, and then Rowan, you give him the wizard or the sorcery charms. So this team is consistently performing pretty well, and this can be a good option for a lot of players out there, especially if you only really have Merrily built up as a damage dealer and you don't have a secondary damage dealer. But the other option here, which is going to be getting a higher score, is the team with Muriel and Merrily both as damage dealers. Sonya buffing up both of them. Real Fresto in front of Sonya, Illusion in front of the Real Fresto, and using Faye. Now, Faye can be replaced for Lucius in this team, that's fine. Personally, from my testing, I found that Surging Spell is a bit more consistent and also getting good scores, so I would recommend the Surging Spell for this team, although Blade Summon can also work. And Muriel, she can use the Sorcery Charms or the Acute Charms. Both are good, and you can test which one is better. Sonya with the Arcane Charms, Merrily with the Overloaded Charms. If you need to, you can replace Muriel for Cassidy. That can also get a good score, but then Cassidy will need to be plus 10 exclusive equipment Mythic Plus, otherwise not really a good idea. And Cassidy with the Acute Charms are probably the best. Fresto again with the Sorcery Charms. So these are basically the top no Harak teams. Now for team number 2, it's just going to be for every single team we talk about today. They're just two team number 2s. One is a higher RNG team, as you can see labeled here. It is with the Harmonic Spell, Hugin in front of Sinbad and Corrin on the faction tile. The problem with this team is usually Sinbad is going to die towards the end. Also, you need the RNG of having your allies over 50% health for the majority of the fight, because that's how Harmonic Spell provides a maximum buffing value. So that is kind of the issue, and honestly from my testing, even when you hit that perfect RNG, it's not such a high upside that it even makes it that worthwhile. And so I would recommend the second version here with Soulbind. This is Hugin in front of Sinbad, and you need to have it in this formation because then Sinbad and Hugin are going to be linked by this Soulbind artifact, and it is going to protect them. They're going to be alive consistently throughout the whole fight, and I think just for a majority of players, this is just really consistent. Even players with lower upgrades, this is the way to go. So I would probably recommend team number 2, and honestly, this is what I wanted to talk about. In the team that got the top score for me today, I was running Harmonic Spell. I was trying that, going for the high RNG. But what happened was my Sinbad died early, or like 5 seconds, 6 seconds left. And I looked at the damage score, and I actually ended up getting lower damage on that Harmonic Spell team compared to the Soulbind version I ran in the previous week. So I was like, I wish I just would have run Soulbind on team number 2, because my team number 1 hit kind of the perfect RNG. And so overall, I would have ended up with like 136.5 billion damage. But yeah, so that's why I recommend this Soulbind team. Okay, now moving on to the Harak teams. Now for the Harak teams, there are quite a few of them, so I want to break it down and first of all just show you basically the Lucius version of a Harak team. So if you don't have Faye built, then Lucius is going to be a good option for you, and this is going to be the team as you see here. Real Fresto in front of Sonya, Illusion in front of Real Fresto, Harak and Muriel on the faction tiles. You can replace Muriel for Merrily, depending on which one is higher upgraded, but if both are the same level of upgrade, Muriel is doing better. And this is basically the team. So for this team, you can run Surging Spell, or you can run Blade Summon. There's going to be RNG involved in this team, so I think everyone should be testing both of the artifacts and see which one is consistently getting a good score for you. But overall, like speaking about the maximum RNG potential, Blade Summon is usually going to be the way to go for the maximum potential basically of the team, but then the RNG is going to be worse, right? Okay, so apart from that, now there are some Faye teams. The top Faye teams of today, they're basically two of them. And these are going to be the two different formations. So one is going to be Illusion Fresto in front of Faye, and then the Real Fresto to the left of the Illusion Fresto. With Harak and Merrily on the faction tiles, Sonya buffing them up. Now, this team can hit 137, even close to 138 billion damage today. So this is definitely a top performing team. Now, as for the charms, this is the tricky thing. So, the decided charms are Harak with Butcher, Sonya with Arcane, Faster with Sorcery Charms. There's no question about that. Merrily, now this is the real difficult part. As you can see for the infographic, you can run Glory Charms on her, Overloaded Charms on her, or no set. The rainbow basically means no set of charms on her. All of them are working, and the thing is, honestly, is most consistent when you run like Glory Charms. Because Overloaded Charms, although it does have that high potential, it also is more RNG heavy, because Merrily ends up hitting and dealing a lot of damage. The boss ramps up faster, bursts damage back, and is more likely to kill them Merrily. So that is a problem. But based on your account, you can try all of these options. Yeah, so it will require some individual testing. But if I have to talk about what worked the best for me in the previous week, because this was my top scoring team in the previous week, it was Glory Charms on Merrily, and actually no charm set onto Faye. However, some people are getting higher scores with Faye with the Wizard Charms, so you can run Wizard Charms on Faye or no charm set onto Faye. Merrily, Glory Charms did the best for me in this specific team. Okay, then we have the overall top team, which is the run I ran this week, and it ended up getting a really good score for me. Now, this is the thing. Now, Illusion first up front, Faye all the way to the left corner. And the charms are going to be standard on all heroes, and you're going to have Wizard Charms onto Faye. But Merrily, it can be either Overloaded Charms or no set of charms. Now, the player who got the top score of today, almost 140 billion damage with a maxed account, which is a crazy score, by the way. He was running Overloaded Charms onto Merrily. Now, honestly, I feel like if you just want to get that top score, Overloaded Charms is the way to go, but the RNG then becomes worse, like I mentioned. But if you're going for that top score, there's no other way to do it than Overloaded Charms. Because what I did for this week is I ran Rainbow, basically no set of charms onto Merrily. But I ended up getting, like, even though the team had the perfect RNG, they survived the whole fight, and I couldn't ask for anything better than that. Merrily's damage output was limited as compared to if I ran it with the Overloaded Charms. She would have had like a maybe extra up to 2 billion damage, and that would have boosted me from almost 136 billion up to 138 billion, right? So, but I don't know how difficult it is to hit that RNG with the Overloaded Charms, but it is with the Blade Summon artifact. Other than that, so these are basically the teams as well as the charms that are recommended. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of my the top scoring run of today. So it was this one, 135.9 billion, and Merrily survived the whole fight. That is why her damage output is high. Harak's damage output is great. Sonya, Fresco, basically everyone is good. The only thing that could have been better is if we would have had Overloaded Charms onto Merrily and still got this RNG, we could have ended up with like another almost 2 billion damage on team number 1. Team number 2 was a letdown because I was running Harmonic Swell, looking for that high RNG, but you're going to see that the overall score, it ended up being almost exactly 61 billion. But I looked at my previous week. In my previous week, when I was running Soulbind on team number 2, it got 61.5 billion. So even though Harmonic can potentially get that maximum RNG and get maybe a bit of a higher score, on average, with even decent RNG, you're not going to even break the Soulbind score. So I just recommend running Soulbind on team number 2 and look for the good RNG on team number 1 and probably try Overloaded over here. But yeah, here's the formation. It's the top team that we talked about. So we're going to look at team number 1 and show you exactly how how lucky you need to be to get this high RNG. I don't know if it's necessarily a lot of luck, but you're going to see that basically everything just went perfectly for me. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know if it would have been possible if I had the Overlord Charms on Merrily, because like I said, the more damage you deal to the boss, the harder he hits back to you. It's kind of like Relentless Rumble. You know, when you kill more enemies, they start really ramping up and dealing a lot of damage. It's very similar here. So if I had the Merrily Overlord Charms, she's going to be bursting the boss. The boss is going to level up or improve his power level more quickly, and then he can just burst me. Like, look at this. Faye is almost dead. She's able to cast her healing, and Merrily's almost dead, and then we get that healing spell from Faye. Perfect. But this is not all. There's going to be a couple more close calls. So here again, Faye is almost dead, but just in time, Harak is able to devour her before she dies. And Merrily is going down on health, down, 21 seconds left. She got a bit of healing right here, and that healing is just enough to take this burst. She's almost dead, and like, she remains at almost 1 health for like the final few seconds of the match. And so like, this was, okay, and then she dies like 1 second left. So this is basically the perfect RNG. We got 74.6 billion damage. I don't know what the top score of team number 1 is for players, but this was a really solid score. And like, if we would have done anything differently, like for example, if we had you know, full overlord set onto Merrily, it might not have been enough. If we had, like, I don't know, because the top ranking player also has a Paragon 4 plus 20 exclusive equipment Faye. So, like, all of those things do add up as well. Like, maybe if Faye had better survivability, then it would be more consistent, even running Overlord charms of Merrily, because, like, I'm worried that if I run Overlord Merrily, Faye might just die prematurely before Harak is able to devour her, and that is not what you want to happen. In team number 2, it's better to run the Soulbind spell, in my opinion. It's just more consistent. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully, this is helpful and gives you some insight on what to do to run the optimal team for you. The charms are always going to be a difficult factor because of how bosses work in AFK Journey. And it's going to require some individual testing as well. But overall, I'm happy with our score. Almost 136 billion damage. Definitely, that is nothing to be upset about. However, even if we just would have ran Soulbind on team number 2 and got our decent RNG of it, we would have hit 136.5 billion with this team. So, I would have been happy if that happened, but anyway, we did a lot of testing. Now we know kind of what to do. And this is important because Ultimate Siege is coming up soon, and it's important to lock in your top formations, because Ultimate Siege is really where you get those major rewards everyone is shooting for, the cosmetic items, as well as top 100 for these different, the Abyssal Essence, which a lot of people are looking forward to, because it's basically the value of 500 Temporal Essences, which is huge. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That's going to be it for this one. If you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please smash that subscribe button. Also, feel free to join my AFK Journey Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video. But thank you for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.